Okay guys, so we're going to be talking about writing linear equations in slope-intercept form, and we're going to be doing that from a graph. So if you remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. You'll notice I'm using 3 different colors here. I'm going to be using the same different colors on the inside of our foldable. So we're going to open this top flap, and we've got y equals mx plus b. So you'll want to remember that m is the slope, which is also equal to your rise over run. That rise over run is what helps us. That's why we always write up or down. And your b is your y-intercept. It's where the line crosses the y-axis. What I also want you to write, that your b is your beginning value. It can also be known as your initial value. So now we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form for each of the lines. You have 5 graphs total. We're going to do the first one together. So remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Alright, that means we need to have 2 things. We need the m and the b. Now you can find slope from looking at a graph. And I'm going to pick these 2 points because I feel like it. And you'll notice as I'm walking from left to right that I'm going up the hill, which means as I'm going, I know it's going to be a positive slope. Notice I'm going up 2. So I'm going to write up 2. And remember, you're always going to go to the right. And it's going to be to the right 3. And now your b value is your y-intercept, so where it crosses the y-axis. That point right here is 0, 3. But when we're using b, we only want to know what that y value is from this y-intercept. That 3. So we're going to write that in. Now that you have both your m and your b, you can rewrite this as y equals 2/3 x plus 3. All you do is drop your numbers in. All right, so let's do number 2, and we're going to go faster. Right, so notice we're going up 4, always to the right 1. And our y-intercept right here is a -2. So my m is up 4, to the right 1, which becomes 4 over 1, which is really just 4. And our y-intercept, which is at -2. So instead of saying y equals 4x plus minus 2, we don't do say plus then minus. You know that what you're doing is actually just subtracting because you're adding a negative number. So you can just write y equals 4x minus 2. I'm going to erase that so you guys can see it a little bit. All right, let's keep going. Right, so we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form for each of the lines graphed below. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video and do these 3 on your own. Just notice that this one's going to be a positive slope. a positive slope, and this is going to be a negative slope. Because this one's going up the hill, down the hill, as we're walking from left to right. As you're doing this, I also want you to notice that the points that I'm picking here, they're on crosshairs right here. They're on that, like, intersections of these boxes. And on 3, we had so many. Now, for number 3, let's go for it. Your slope, you get up 1 to the right 1. Let me write that here. You get a positive 1 over 1. Well, 1 divided by 1 is just, well, 1. So you can write y equals 1x plus 2. Now, you're not going to see it like that on a test, though. If you need that one, you can write it there. But you'll notice whenever we were even solving equations, we would end up saying x plus 4 instead of saying 1x plus 4. That's because it's not necessary. It's like saying, I have 1 scissors. Well, I sound like a fool when I say it. I'm not wrong, but I don't need to say it. I can just say I have scissors. So we would just write y equals x plus 2. This would be your correct answer. All right, number 4, you're going up 3 and to the right 5, I believe. No? Up 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So your slope is up 3 to the right 5. So you've got 3 over 5. And your y-intercept here is 0. So we could write y equals 3/5 x plus 0. Now here's the deal. You're not wrong when you say that, and you're not gonna see it like that on a test, because that plus 0 isn't necessary to write down. It's like saying I have 20 plus $0. If somebody were to tell you that you have 20 plus, they have 20 plus $0, you're just gonna be like, you have $20. Just say you have $20. So it's not necessary. And so we're just going to erase that plus 0. All right, so I want you to ignore that one over there, because I miscounted when I wrote that. So remember, it's going to be y equals 3/5 x as your answer for this one. All right, and you'll notice number 5, my answer is already up there as well, because you went down 3 and to the right 2, and your intersection was at a positive 1. All right, so now we're going to use everything we're doing, and we're going to use our real world applications. What I want you to remember is that M is your unit rate. So when you're seeing it in a word problem or a real world application, you might see the word per. So like something per whatever. And that's always something that you can use. You can also use the word each. When they're talking about the B value, our y-intercept, they're going to say something about the beginning or starting or initial value, because that's where you start on the graph. Sometimes when you're talking about money, though, they might say there is a one-time fee or a setup fee. So if it's some type of one-time fee, like say they charge you shipping and then you get everything, that would be an example of this. So we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form to represent each of the situations below. Now, you see that Susie is planning her wedding reception. She's planning her wedding, and for the reception, the venue charges a one-time rental fee plus an additional cost for each guest. So these are key words that I want you to highlight. Use the graph to write an equation in slope-intercept form to represent the amount spent, y, for your x guess. Now, these are very super important things because, and I'm going to use orange, because right here they're telling us which variable to use for what, and they also show us that same thing on the graph. So now let's go up. We're going up. We're not going up 50. We're not going up 1,000. We're not going up 1. We're going up 500. And you'll have to notice that because this is 0 down here. And it's going up 2 before it even hits 1,000. So you went up 500 each block on the y-axis. And now when you go to the right one, well, you're going 10 for each of them. This is something super important. They will try to mess with your head on the STAR test. They will change these scales right here. So let's write it out. We've got M is equal to up 500 and always to the right 10. All right, so we can rewrite that as 500 divided by 10. Well, you're not going to leave it like that. You're going to simplify. So what we're going to do is we're going to simplify it. And hey, look, my zeros knock out. And it's going to get us 50. So that 50, though, is that additional cost for each guest. So it costs $50 per guest. All right. So far we've got y equals 50x. And now we need our y-intercept. Well, our y-intercept is at 1,000 right here. Whew. Susie must have saved up for this. So this would be your equation. But now, you notice how they gave us a word problem? I want us to write a sentence back about it because you're going to be asked to interpret the slope. So, you have to think about what that $50 means. So, for Susie's wedding, the venue charges we can do a rental fee first because that's what we're beginning with. A rental fee of $1,000. Remember that y is the amount spent, which means we're talking about cost, and that's money. That's what our output is, and that's why the y-intercept is $1,000 and not people, because it'd be weird if they did that. So the venue charges a rental fee of $1,000 and $50 and I'm going to actually say an additional $50 for each guest. So that anybody that's coming back onto this problem, they don't have to read everything up there. They can read your answer right here and understand everything that's going on. So this would be your equation, but I want us to practice writing. All right, so now let's try this one. Writing an equation in slope-intercept form to represent each of the situations below. So here is Josh and him opening a savings account. So I want you to pause, look right here, find your slope, and then come back and check with me. All right, so if you're coming back, my slope right here, I'm going up 2, but each of those 2 means I'm going up 20. All right, so if I went up 20 twice, 20, 40, 60, 80, so we're going up 40, and always to the right. In this case, my right was a 1 week. All right, so he opened a savings account. Let's see. Every Friday, he made an additional deposit. So that additional deposit is this slope right here. And when he opened the savings account, hey, he began the savings account. That would be right here, your y-intercept, which is 100. So writing our equation then would be y equals 40x plus 100. And that would be your answer. Now, I do want you to write a sentence about this. And the sentence would be that Josh opened a savings account with, and you'll notice I'm abbreviating, with $100 and deposits $40 every Friday. And that would be your sentence to describe the entire situation. You could write this equation right here just from the sentence you just wrote. Thanks for watching.